Right, so as some of you may know who watch my videos regularly, whenever there's a topic that there's been a bunch of updates for, I usually make a part 2. Well, recently I realised there's actually been a lot of smaller updates on a bunch of topics that I've spoke about. So for today's video, I thought it'd be interesting to take maybe like 4 topics that I've spoke about very recently and let you know what's happened since. Let me know in the comment section if this is something you want me to do more of, like if there's more updates in the future that maybe isn't enough for a full video, but we can put like multiple updates in one. Does that make sense? I think so, right? But either way, let's get into the first update. So this was a situation we spoke about recently involving a restaurant and an influencer food reviewer. Funnily enough, this isn't the only update we have involving a restaurant and a influencer food reviewer in this video. I'm sure you can probably guess if you've watched my recent videos. But we were made aware of this first one from this user right here called Bella Blue. She's the owner of a restaurant called Pulcinella and an Instagram food reviewer called Fashions Digest, this her account right here. Recently got in contact with Bella to talk about showing up to the restaurant, you know, trying some of the food, doing a bit of a review, maybe some promotion on Instagram. And as we can see by these DMs right here, Bella said, "Are we expected to pay something? Comp food, drinks? I just don't want to set it all up and agree to something that I'm not clear on." To which Fashions Digest or Diane says, "No payment necessary for this visit, just need to select from the food and drink menu to review and shoot photos/reels. There will be 2 people, myself and a content creator." So clearly from this conversation, Diane has said there's no payment necessary. Obviously Bella asked saying do you expect comp food or anything like that? And Diane didn't even really reply to that. She really made it seem in these messages as if the plan was she was just gonna show up, review the food, and leave. And as you'll be aware if you watch my previous video, this didn't really happen. And in fact, Diane racked up this big tab worth $300. We can actually see it right here. Yeah, so you can see some of the items that she ordered. Quite a lot, right? So she racks up this big tab, $300, and then when it gets to paying, she says, "Actually, no, I should be getting this food for free."
Walk over to her table and she's like, "Oh, you misunderstood me. That means that you just don't have to pay us, but everything should be comped." And I was like, "But I asked you, I asked you for clarity." And, and she's like, "No, I mean, that's how this works. And this is what we do." And so then at that point, Andy and I go to the side and are chatting. And I was like, "Look, I was like, my mistake. I didn't realize. I will cover the cost of this. I'll make sure the server gets tipped out." And he's Italian. He's like, "No."
And it gets even worse because after Diane refused to pay the bill, she also went as far to say, is $300 a lot to you? Almost making it seem as if it's not a lot of money, even though she refused to pay it.
It's really fascinating. And the golden part is afterwards, as she was leaving, she's like, "Is $300 a lot for you?" And I was just like, because $300, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Is it a lot? Yes, it's a lot for a small business. Absolutely. And to write it off as such, to just be so flippant about it, "Oh, you should just be able to eat that, no problem."
So you get the gist of what's happened here, right? A food reviewer show up to a restaurant, just assume that she's getting the food for free, even though that was never mentioned, and then it started this big situation. So now let's get into the updates. So we actually have some updated statements. First of all, from Andrew Principe, I believe it's pronounced, which is Bella's husband. And we also have a statement from Diane, the Instagram food reviewer, who left without paying the bill. So starting with Andrew's statement, this is on people.com, by the way. He spoke directly with them, and it says, "Speaking with People, Principe said the party arrived late and ordered pretty much everything on the menu, including multiple drinks and wine. He explained that an average check at the couple's restaurant is around $40, so running up that expensive of a bill for 2 people was quite a feat. People don't know what it's like to own a restaurant, and there's so many pitfalls and so many challenges that you face, and this whole influencer culture is one of them," he says of the incident. "He will gladly work with ethical influencers, but to tell us that you don't need anything from us and then just show up and run up one of the biggest per person tabs we've ever seen is just offensive." And then this is where we get to Diane's response. So it says, "In a statement shared with People, Kronstad responded to the controversy, clarifying her role in the incident. She explained that she often reaches out to local businesses in new cities to spotlight the vibrant local scene through photos, videos, and honest storytelling, and that she does not charge restaurants for coverage. After experiencing a flight delay the day of the reservation, Kronstad says that she called to push her reservation to a later time, and was met with what she describes a confusing and cold reception when she eventually arrived at the restaurant. There was no introduction from the manager or owner, to which is typical how these types of visits begin, especially when it's known that I'm there to cover the experience. If someone had come by to set expectations or even just say hello, I'm confident the confusion about billing and hosting could have been avoided." Yeah, I mean, look, just from the beginning of this statement alone, I'm not really sure how a greeting, coming over and saying hello would have avoided the confusion, unless it was directly mentioned, but I don't feel like it would have been directly mentioned, at least from Bella, right? Because she already asked on the Instagram DM, so why would she ask again? I guess maybe Diane is saying that if she came over to say hello, Diane would have asked about it. I don't know. Kronstadt says that she was surprised at the end of the meal to learn that only the dessert had been comped by the restaurant, which she claims was not informed of in advance. I mean, honestly, that's a detail that we weren't even aware of before, so apparently the restaurant did actually comp the dessert, even though it was never mentioned about comp food. I mean, that seems like a very nice thing from them, right? Like, you should be paying for the full bill and they've give you the dessert for free. That seems like a good deal. To be clear, I never expect free meals. I expect clarity, Kronstadt writes. I mean, that is ironic to say the least. But in the world of restaurant PR, it's common practice for food and drink to be comped in exchange for high quality content, especially when creators are offering photography, video, social media exposure, and storytelling that restaurants can repurpose. Now, here's the thing with this, right? I get what she's trying to say. That probably is pretty common in a lot of cases, right? But obviously, the restaurant gets to choose if they're going to give you food for free in exchange for content. That's something that you organise beforehand. Otherwise, anyone could show up with a camera and take a few videos and be like, right, I want my food for free, please. And not to mention, from the messages we saw, they did literally ask if she expects the food to be comped because she wanted to know that before she agreed to anything, and it was never mentioned from Diane that the food should be comped. Like, it was the perfect opportunity to say something, right? And it was never said. Kronstadt also writes that the tone shifted dramatically when Blue and Principe finally approached her table. She claims that the pair said the meal would be covered if I left a tip, which she calls a normal arrangement in hospitality. Yeah, so I assume Diane is saying that this was said in person, and obviously not in the messages, otherwise I'm sure that would have been shown at this point, so I mean, yeah, that's obviously just a case of who do you believe. I mean, to be fair, in Bella's video, she did say, like, at first when, like, this situation was kind of happening, she was like, you know what, I'll just pay it just to get rid of the situation, and her husband was like, no, that's not right. So maybe that's what Diane's referring to here, I'm not sure. We absolutely intended to tip, but at that point, the situation felt unsafe and unpredictable, she writes, alleging that Principe raised her voice at her and her guest and followed the pair of them back to their car. The response to the incident has continued to grow online across social media. Since that night, I've received thousands of abusive and threatening messages across multiple platforms, Kronstadt wrote. Regardless of how it began, no one should be subject to that kind of attack, especially over what could have been a simple conversation or clarification. I mean, yeah, obviously it is out of order for anyone to go over to like a socials and just start being horrible to her and sending like disgusting messages. That's never okay. I want to end by saying this. I love discovering local restaurants. I respect the work that chefs, staff, and owners put into creating beautiful dining experiences. I'm not sharing this to stir controversy, but to defend my name and the integrity of what I do, and to speak on behalf of many other content creators who navigate these blurry lines every day with care, respect, and professionalism. Okay, so that is Diane's statement right there. I don't really think it changes overly too much. Again, I don't think anyone should ever be going over to anyone that we mention in these videos and sending horrible messages or anything like that. But yeah, even after hearing both sides, I think obviously Diane should have paid for the bill, and I think it's a bit wild that she expected so confidently that the food was going to be for free without ever mentioning that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on everything that we just spoke about, and let's move over to the next updates. So this update is from a situation that we spoke about revolving around this influencer right here called Sage and Maze. Now if you remember, Sage and Maze, or Samantha, posted a video recently talking about how someone was catfishing as her, and the way that they were doing this was taking Samantha's pictures and putting a different face on them.
I just went back and found the screenshot, so I'll show you. Okay, so my friend Brad posted me on his story. That's me, obviously. And then this is what she posted. So that's her face, and it says, not the outcome I wanted, but we'll be back for that sub 315 back to lab, which first of all, I've already gotten sub 315. So if that's the time that you wanted, you should have taken my other results. This one was crazy to me because that's me and my boyfriend, Isaac. Girl, honestly, this is the craziest one because my mom posted this one on her page. I didn't repost this one. Girl.
Yeah, so already a pretty wild situation, right? You've got this picture of Samantha, which is actually her, and then you've got this edited picture where effing the picture is the exact same, other than the face. Now, in the previous video, if you remember, I was kind of questioning whether this was someone's actual face or if it was AI, right? Because who knows at this point, right? You can generate faces using AI and they look pretty real. Well, the update for this situation is that our questions have been answered because a user called Ali Peters actually posted a video recently talking about the fact that it was her face on the pictures.
Hello everyone, my name's Allie. I'm about a week late to the drama and I don't know if any even see this video. It's my first TikTok, but I thought I would come on here and share that I am the face in this video that has been being used on Samantha's marathon photos, and it is not me cropping my face onto her photos.
Yeah, so this is why I was trying to make it very clear in the last video, probably to an annoying amount, saying like, just because this person's face being used in the pictures absolutely does not mean it's them. And as we'll hear throughout these new updates, it wasn't Ali who was doing this, and in fact they actually found out who was doing it. But first of all, with Ali's video, she goes on to explain that this has been happening for a long time.
I've actually been having somebody use my photos for the past 6 years. It's the same person every time. It's actually quite crazy. But figured since my face is all over the internet, I'd clear things up and share my story. I have been dealing with this since about like 2019. I have no idea who this girl is, but I do have some information from random people across the world reaching out to me, somehow finding me and telling me that somebody's using my photos.
Yeah, so just looking from these messages, you can see that some of these are from 2021, right? So it's been going on for years by the same person. And like I said, we'll later find out, they've actually found out who was doing this. And the weirdest part about it, as we'll see, is it's someone that neither of them say that they know. From what I gather, and we'll get to it, it's just like a random girl that they've never met before who's doing it. So, which is beyond wild. Ali then goes on to explain that this person would make up like these crazy stories pretending that she's Ali.
Actually was sent one time an obituary for one of my friends who she has said is her sister who died, and she is not dead. She's my friend and I love her.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the last video, it might not just be Sam who's been affected by this, right? It could be the person whose pictures are being used, whose face is being used. It might not be the person who's actually doing it. And that is the case, which is crazy. But I feel like the one positive that's came out of this is that this person's decided to use a pretty big TikToker's pictures, right? Samantha has, I think, about like 500,000 followers. Meaning when she found out about this, she made a video, it went viral, a lot of people heard about this. So you would like to think, judging by like the fact that they've both been blocked now, and that apparently, as we heard in the last video, there was another account claiming to be this girl's friend, might have just been the girl, saying like, oh, can you please like delete the video, like people are being horrible and stuff like this. Maybe they'll stop. Now, Samantha's actually posted a new video since Ali posted hers, basically saying, first of all, obviously it wasn't Ali who was behind this, but also they've now found out who it was.
We have an ending to the whole marathon catfish situation. So yesterday I was tagged in Ali's video. Immediately, I saw it like 30 seconds after she posted it, immediately DM'd her. We have been talking for the past 24 hours, trying to figure all of this out. So basically, we do know who has been using her photos, know her name, what she looks like, everything. We are not gonna post her online because we're trying to figure out like legal action. So if you know anything about that, if you know any way that we can take any legal action, or that Ali can take any legal action about this.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting to see how that would actually go legally, right? Because this is something that's been going on for years, as we just heard. Yeah, not a lawyer, right? So I don't know how it would go legally either, but it feels like something should be able to happen here.
Ali has been having her photos used since 2019 for multiple catfish accounts in multiple different states. So I think it started off in Michigan, and then it's gone to Louisiana, it's gone to Boston, it's gone to Texas, I think. So she's been a victim since 2019 of this. She has no idea who this person is. Neither of us do. Neither of us know this person that's been using her photos for the catfish accounts.
And I remember when I posted last video, there was a lot of people in the comment section assuming that it has to be someone who knows either Samantha or Ali personally. And I guess from what we're hearing here, that just isn't the case at all. Now, Samantha does end this video by clarifying that Ali has nothing to do with this other than the fact that her face was used for the pictures, but it wasn't anything she did.
But we have been talking, so I just wanted to post this and let you guys know that Ali, no part in it other than her being a victim of her face being used. She is not the catfish person. She like is fully just a victim, and so is her family, and just I like feel so bad about the whole situation, and I feel bad that her face is being blasted when she has nothing to do with it. So
yeah, I guess we'll have to see how this situation plays out. Obviously they're talking about taking legal action. Who knows if that's actually going to happen. Maybe there'll be more updates in the future, but either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on that update. Right, so for the next update, we have another situation involving a restaurant and like influencer food reviewer. Except this situation was very different. In the previous one, the vast majority of people were on the side of the restaurant. In this one, the vast majority of people are on the side of the TikToker. The TikToker being It's Carla BB, who, by the way, I believe had about like 13,000 followers when this situation started. In my first video talking about this, I believe she had had like 70,000. She now has nearly 500,000. So I think it's fair to say she is absolutely blew up from the situation. Actually, how many views is the original video on? 25.5 million views, and the update has 9 million views. So yeah, this situation went viral to say the least. Now, if you remember, in Carla's video, she spoke about how she organized a collaboration with this restaurant. It was Sis Cafe in San Francisco. And we can see the messages here with Carla saying, apologies for the change. Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. works best for me. Please let me know if that works for the team. To which a restaurant says, sure thing, I have you down, Carla. Excited to have you in a +1. Carla says, thank you so much. Super excited to highlight your amazing restaurant and share with my audience. So this was something that she planned with the restaurant. They were aware that she was going to show up and film her experience. But this is where the problems start, because Carla organized this with, I believe, the co-owner, and when she showed up to the restaurant, the other owner, Luke Sung, wasn't aware of this situation, I guess. And he made it very clear that he wasn't happy about any of this, because he went up to Carla, started asking her a bunch of questions, asked to see her TikTok account, to which he made it very clear that he wasn't very impressed.
And he starts scrolling through and playing my TikToks on full volume at the restaurant. And not even my page, just the page that comes up when you search my name. After scrolling like 2 times, he says to me that he doesn't think my videos are at the level at which he wants his restaurant to be represented. He goes on to say that my audience and my followers are not the kind of people that are going to be at his restaurant. It seemed like he was insinuating that my followers would not be able to afford to eat at this restaurant.
And then Luke starts to come across even worse because he says the infamous line of, do you know who I am? And then also mentions the fact that his daughter has more followers than Carla.
Then he says, not to be snobby, but do you know who I am? And I say no, because I don't know who he is. He says he's a James Beard Award recipient or finalist or something, and I'm like, great, like I don't know what to say to that. And he said that his daughter has 600,000 followers on TikTok and that I'm not at that level.
Now, of course, after Carla posted this video, the situation blew up. The restaurant was receiving a bunch of backlash. And the last update we spoke about in the last video was that Luke was no longer going to be part of the team in any way. Well, since my last video, Luke has actually released his own statement. So previously we spoke about the restaurant statement. This is apparently from Luke himself. Hi everyone, I am Luke Sung, previous chef of Kiss Cafe. It was important for me to first apologise to Carla privately and step away from Kiss Cafe before publicly apologising. Carla, I'm truly sorry for my actions towards you. I was condescending, hurtful and intimidating. You did not deserve to be made to feel less than or unimportant. Nobody does. Regardless, I thank you for teaching me a valuable lesson in kindness and respect. There are no excuses to be made. I've decided it's time for me to step away from Kiss Cafe permanently in all capacities. I also want to be clear, the responsibility of this whole situation is on mine alone and my behaviour should not be a reflection on anyone else who works there or anyone who is related to me. Yeah, so if you remember, obviously because Luke mentioned his daughter has more followers, a lot of people were sending his daughter hate, and we were saying in like the last video, like, why? She's not involved in this other than the fact that it's a dad. She did actually end up releasing a statement saying she doesn't agree with his actions as well. I truly care about my staff and I'm devastated that my actions have impacted both them and their families. I have worked with many of the employees at the restaurant for years and they are incredible people who don't deserve to suffer due to my behaviour. Finally, the last person I want to apologise to is my daughter Isabel. I am sorry to put you in this position and I'm ashamed that you had to be the one to own up for my mistake. All I've ever wanted to do is give you the opportunity to create a better life for yourself than the one I grew up with, and I failed you in the worst way. I came to this country to give all my kids the best chance to work hard towards their goals, and now I've given the public nothing but a reason to tear them down for my actions. I'm sorry for disrespecting all of your efforts and hard work to build your careers. To Carla, my kids, and everyone else in the hospitality industry, I hope you will accept my apology, and thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Sincerely, Luke Sung. But with that being said, let me know your opinions on Luke's statement, and yeah, let me know your opinions on everything that we spoke about in today's video. Also, let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and I'm going to leave it there. So if you did enjoy, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new. Also, if you're interested in some other content, me and Emily have a channel where we play games, react to reality shows, do vlogs, stuff like that. If you're interested in any of that, that's always linked in the description down below. And yeah, until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.